lesson design tutorial. To start a new design in Wilcom Embroidery Studio, simply select the new icon on the toolbar or the option from the File menu and select New. The first step in this and all projects is to specify the fabric you wish to use. Embroidery Studio provides a set of optimized fabric settings so that the software will take into account the type of fabric you are stitching on. If you wish to use a fabric, you must select the fabric at the beginning of your design. You can, however, change to a different fabric type at any time. When you start a new design, the Auto Fabric Assistant dialog box appears, which allows me to select an optimized Wilcom fabric type. To use this option, select the Use Auto Fabric Assistant checkbox, and from the list, browse and select your fabric type that you want to use. In my case, I'm creating my design on a white jersey polo shirt, so I select Jersey. And to select that fabric type, I select OK. The software has now pre-configured my workspace with the fabric type Jersey, as you can see in the bottom right corner of my screen. The software has also placed a jersey simulated fabric background in my design window. By default, the color of that fabric is white. I can change that fabric color by selecting my Design Options icon, and from my Fabric checkbox, I select Browse, and I can browse and select a new color fabric if I like. I'm now ready to start building my design. In this case, I want to start building my project in the CorelDRAW graphics mode of the Wilcom Embroidery Studio software. I'm currently in the embroidery mode, so I have all my embroidery tools available. To access the graphics mode, simply select the graphics mode icon on the universal toolbar, and Embroidery Studio will automatically switch you to the CorelDRAW graphics mode of the software. In this mode, I have access to all the CorelDRAW X4 graphic tools. To build this project, I simply want to import clip art designs that I have either purchased or downloaded from the internet. To import artwork, simply select the import icon on the CorelDRAW graphics standard toolbar, and the import dialog box appears. Navigate to the Samples Embroidery Studio e1.5 Projects folder. In this dialog box, I have access to all the file formats supported in CorelDRAW X4. To start this project, import the flag.cdr file. In CorelDRAW X4, I can maintain layers and pages of that existing artwork. But in my case, I'm importing the artwork in the correct layer and sequence that I want it to print and sew. So for my artwork, I'll uncheck the Maintain Layers and Pages option and click Import to import that artwork. CorelDRAW is now prompting me to click and drag to both scale and position my artwork on screen. Another option is to simply press Enter, and CorelDRAW will import that artwork at one scale and in the center of your page. To view the size of the artwork or object selected, you can look at the Object Sizes field in the Property toolbar of the CorelDRAW graphics mode. For my jersey polo shirt, this artwork size is okay, so I can leave it at the current size, or if I like, I can resize and rescale with the handles in CorelDRAW X4. I'm now ready to import additional elements, so again I click Import, and this time I'll select the artwork ships.cdr. Once again, I do not want to maintain my page and layers, so I uncheck this option and click Import. And again, CorelDRAW is now prompting me to click and drag on screen to position and resize my artwork, or again, I can click Enter to position my artwork at the center of my page in 1 scale. In this case, I want my ship artwork to be in the top left-hand corner of my flag. So with my mouse, I click once and then drag on screen, and I can see the size of my artwork while I'm dragging. When I'm happy with that size, I simply let go of my mouse button, and CorelDRAW will import and resize the artwork at the same time. I can make any minor adjustments by clicking and dragging the artwork on screen, or again resizing the artwork with the resize handles. I'm now ready to continue importing my artwork, so again I go to Import. This time I'm going to select the EPS file msc34.eps, which is a clip art file available on the Digital Art Solutions Ready Art Volume 1. I select Import, and CorelDRAW is now prompting me with the Import EPS options. The EPS options dialog box allows me to import text either as text or convert the text to curves. Now in this case I know this clip art does not contain any text, so I'm happy to keep it as curves. But if it did contain actual TrueType font text and I want that text to be editable, then I should select the text option. But again, in this case I don't have text, so either option is fine for this particular artwork. I click OK, and once again I can click and drag to rescale and resize this artwork, or simply press enter to import that artwork at 1 scale in the center of my page. With my mouse I can select this artwork and drag it and position it on screen to match the artwork and style that I want to create for my design. Finally, I want to import one more piece of clip art artwork. So again I go to Import, and this time select my soccerboard.cdr, and again I don't want to maintain my layers and pages for the CorelDRAW CDR file, and I select Import, and I want to position my soccer ball in the bottom left area of my artwork. So again I click on screen and drag, and when I let go of my mouse I not only import but also resize my artwork at the same time. Okay, I now have all my artwork elements in place, and again as vector shapes I can click and drag and resize any of the artwork elements that I've imported. So I have complete control in the CorelDRAW graphics mode to edit and change this artwork. Now I'm happy with most of the artwork, and I want my pirate head to be embroidery and my soccer ball to be embroidery, and I want this flag background and the ship to be printed, but I'm not really happy with the brightness and the look and feel of this ship artwork. I want to make it look more mysterious and more pirate-like. So what I want to do is use the CorelDRAW transparency tool to make this pirate ship semi-transparent. First of all, select your ship or any artwork piece that you want to modify in CorelDRAW. From the CorelDRAW interactive flyout, I'm going to select the interactive transparency tool. CorelDRAW is now prompting me to click and drag on screen to set my transparency. So I do this by first of all clicking once on screen and then dragging my mouse, and when I let go you can see now that CorelDRAW has now made my artwork transparent from white being solid right down to black, which is 100% transparent. So I can click and drag that on screen and adjust that transparency in any way I like. Okay, with my artwork modifications done, I'm now ready to add some text elements to this CorelDRAW graphic design. Select the CorelDRAW text tool on the toolbar and click on screen and type the words pirates. Select the text, and from the CorelDRAW font list I'm going to choose an appropriate font, in my case a college style font called College Black. I can adjust the position of the text by clicking and dragging on screen, and I can also adjust the size by again clicking and using my resize handle. I also want to change the color of my pirates text to match the same color in the red flag or or scarf of the pirate mascot. So with the artwork and object selected, I can choose a new color in my color palette on the right, in this case red. A left click will apply a fill. A right click will apply an outline color to my object. With my design now complete, I'm ready to convert parts of the design to embroidery. In this particular design, we want the flag and the ship and the text to be digital print. We'll print this onto the garment first. After this, we'll overstitch the pirate head and the soccer ball as embroidery. To convert part of a design to embroidery, select the objects. To select multiple objects, hold down the Shift key. In this case, I want to select the pirate head, hold down my Shift key, and select the soccer ball. With those two objects selected, I can now convert them to embroidery by selecting the Convert button on the Embroidery Studio Universal Toolbar. My design has now converted to embroidery, and to see my graphics at the same time, I simply select my Show Vectors icon on the toolbar. In the background, I can now see my flag artwork and my pirate artwork. At this point in time, the embroidery design is starting and finishing in the center of my design. Now this could make it difficult to align my embroidery to my digital print in the background. So what I want to do is adjust where the artwork is starting and finishing. And I can do this by right-clicking on the Auto Start and End icon on the toolbar, or go to Stitch, Auto Start and End. And from the options, instead of using the method Auto Start and End, I can select to digitize my own Auto Start and End point. I click OK. Now when aligning embroidery to digital print on an embroidery machine, it's recommended to identify and locate a sharp corner on the digital print that you can align your embroidery needles to on the machine. In this case, I'll choose the corner of my pirate's text capital P, and I'll simply click on Screen. And the Wilcom software has now moved my start and end point from the center down to the corner of the P on pirates. If I turn off True View by selecting the True View icon, and if I select the Slow Redraw icon on the toolbar, I can use Slow Redraw to reduce my machine speed and press play and watch this design sew. So it starts at the bottom, continues up, starts the pirate head, and if I increase that machine speed, it will now complete all of the pirate and the soccer ball, and then finish and return back to the same place ready for my next design on the machine. To sew this design, all I have to do is simply select the Stitch to Machine Manager icon on the toolbar. I can now select which machine and machine format I want to send my design. To print the print elements of this design, I can switch back to the CorelDRAW graphics mode of my software. And in the CorelDRAW graphics mode, I can see not only the CorelDRAW graphics, but also my embroidery objects. From this mode, I can hide my embroidery objects by unchecking the Show Embroidery option. And now I can only see my CorelDRAW graphics objects. Because I had retained graphics selected when I converted my graphic objects to embroidery, it maintained a copy of those CorelDRAW graphics. To print this design on my t-shirt, I of course do not need the pirate head or the soccer ball because they're embroidered, so I can simply select and delete those items, and then simply use the standard CorelDRAW print options and print that to my digital printer or onto screen print film.